I have a list here. Talk about yourself. So I don't know how that's defined or what that means, but I can for a little while, I suppose. I'm an IT person based in an IT background. I'm supervisor and a project manager. And honestly, I really do enjoy that. I love being in the IT field. It is something that I've enjoyed quite a bit. Hello, welcome in, whoever that is. And I have strongly loved being in the IT field. It's given me a lot and it is very challenging at the same time and it's constantly changing. So it's a wonderful career field to get into if you're interested in that. I belong to the PSIP or Palace Acquire program for the United States Air Force, which is civil service. And I think that I will be doing a video on that here in the near future, just for, I don't see very many videos addressing this. So I will address it in a video here to come. All right. It says, when creating a look, what are the top three must haves? So for me, number one, I would say if you look at a lot of my looks that you have on Instagram, which is linked down in the description, you can see a lot of nature stuff in my looks. You can see sunsets, you can see forest, you can see ocean, you can see sky, you can see earth tones, so on and so forth. You can see many different forms of nature within my looks. And I do that on purpose. And I think that makes sense to me because our eyes are naturally drawn to the nature. So why wouldn't you use nature to benefit you, as far as I'm concerned? And I think that makes perfect sense. If you're going to put effort into it, why not make it look appealing? And it keeps you away from complementing colors, which is nice. But once again, it allows you to do things. Do you still smoke your pipe regularly? I do still smoke my pipe regularly. Absolutely, I do. And I really do enjoy it quite a bit. So it has been a long time since I've been able to be on here, unfortunately. The next thing it would be was accessories. So I try to put as minimal accessories as possible. I would say about two or three on each hand, and that's about it. I try not to do more than that. And I think that's responsible as far as I'm concerned. And the next thing is my shoes. I think the shoes really do make an outfit. You can have really nice outfit, but if you have trashy shoes, it doesn't look, it just throws the whole thing off, in my opinion. So make sure if you're going to invest in one item that you have, make sure it's shoes because they really do stand out. Believe it or not, they do. Let's see, if you can live in any other country for a year, which country would you choose? So I lived in Germany for 4 years. I would probably go back to live there. The other one that I would do is I used to visit Italy a lot when I did live in Germany, and I loved Italy quite a bit. And also, I did visit there quite a lot as well. I would also like to maybe even Mexico at that. So I was asked right here in the comments here for blend for pipe smoke. So for me, I like a house blend called Casanova. I'm not quite sure exactly what it is, but it's a house blend from Fing Cigars here locally in San Antonio. I do like that quite a bit. All right, so what's your favorite brand for jeans? My favorite brand for jeans that I've done for many years has been Levi's, and I've always picked 501s. The reason for that is because I can wear them as high waisted. They have enough in the seat area to where you can have a high waisted pant. And I do always usually put it right at my navel. And what I do is usually it's baggy at the bottom, so I have it tailored or tapered inward at the bottom so it doesn't have a lot of fabric. And I do prefer it that way. It's easier for me. You could get 511s, which I think are skinny jeans or straight fit, but it's much easier if you just get it wider and have a tailor taper the bottoms of the jeans, and it does look much easier and much better that way, in my opinion. All right, so it says, how often do I eat eggs, bacon, avocado? So eggs just depends, maybe a couple times a month. Bacon, same thing, couple times a month. Avocado, not as much as I like to, but usually maybe once every month, so on and so forth, like that. Maybe once every 2 months, not so often. They tend to go bad here in San Antonio for some reason, and I don't know why. So this is questions, like I said, from back. So it says, how's the prep for the new job, the new permanent job? So the prep was very difficult on me, and I took over about 3 or 4 months before I even got the job. I could see what it was like, and I really did enjoy it, and it was very taxing on me, but I've learned a lot, and I continue learning because why not? It's the easiest thing to do. If you stop learning, you stop growing, right? So that's my opinion on that. So let's see, what's the longest period I've ever fasted for? Oh my goodness. I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe a day, maybe 2 days. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember when I did it was in wrestling, and that was because I was trying to make weight to compete in meets, and you had to make a certain weight or you couldn't compete in the wrestling meet. So, yeah, which is not talked about very much, but in wrestling, you really, really have to cut weight or keep in your weight class, or it's all for nothing. So, there's always that. Let's see. How was the wedding last week? So I did go to a wedding a couple months ago. It was really good. It was a private wedding, a private affair. It was a really good friend of mine. I signed their wedding certificate, which I take as a great, great honor to me and love from their family. And I was able to write myself as a witness on their wedding certificate. So for me, my name will always be there. And I find that very emotional for me. I do. I really did appreciate that because I just was expecting just to show up and he's like, hey, I want you to sign. I want you to be a witness. And I thought, that's fantastic. I really do appreciate that. He didn't have to do that, but he did it anyway. I didn't ask him. He just said, hey. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll sign it. So I was the first one to sign. Do you use beard balm? What do you suggest? My beard is pretty much like yours. So there is one thing that I do use. So I still have stuff from when I was working at art shaving. So what I do is I'll take a little bit in my hands and I will run it like this. And then there's a Kent brush. I think I've done a video on my YouTube channel here that has a Kent brush and how to brush your beard. That Kent brush is fantastic. They are extremely proud of it because it is handmade, but I've used it for 3 or 4 years now. And honestly, you really can shape your beard very well with that brush. And you can also, I've had some friends, they buy light pomade for hair and they put it in their beard and do it that way as well. I've seen them do that as well. I don't know if that's popular or not, but I don't know if that's legit. But I've seen my some of my friends put light, what was it, light hold pomade hair. They put it in their beard so that way it kind of keeps it uniform. And then if you want to scent to it, generally speaking, you could also get like an oil, and it'll give it brightness and give it a scent, which will look really nice as well. That doesn't that doesn't change really. From my experience, this is my experience. It could be different for you, but when I used oils, I didn't see really much any benefit besides scent and the brightness of the beard. And I already naturally have oily skin. So it didn't make sense for me to put more shine in my beard. It just didn't make sense to me. But some people may like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just your personal preference. So next thing that was asked is, are you a pet person and do you have any? I am a pet person. I've had one dog. I've had a cat. I've had a guinea pig. I've had two corgis, and now I have nothing because I've been so busy doing stuff. I don't have time for a pet, which I think a lot of people should take in consideration before they get animals because they are quite a bit they're quite a bit of work. Have you ever heard of Bandito cigars, like a smaller cigarillo? Have you ever tried them? I have not. I have not tried those. The smallest cigar that I like, that really small, would be from Placencia. They make an extremely small cigar. It's like this. It's about 20, 30 minutes. I don't remember the size, but it's Placencia. It's the white label, and that is a fantastic cigar. It is extremely small, and it is very easy to smoke, really easy to basically just enjoy. And it's not strong. It has a really good flavor, and you can just puff on it, and it's just great. I strongly would encourage anybody to, like I said, smoke those. I mean, they're just great. I really do enjoy those little small placencias. There's another one off the top of my head. And then also pipes, even a small pipe, like I talked about earlier, just like a small corncob pipe. That's also real easy if you don't have a lot of time. But for me, I like that small placencia. It's real easy to smoke. I've also liked nubs as well. So like the nub Cameroon, they have nub Habano, nub Connecticut, nub Maduro, and nub Cameroon. And I generally prefer Cameroon wrappers because I just like the way they taste, and Sumatra as well. And either one of those. And then also I do like some of the San Andreas stuff that comes from those. The smallest cigars that I also like is Lonsdale size. I like Lonsdale, and then like I said, usually a Lonsdale size. A Churchill size is also something that I really like to smoke as well. Usually when I smoke a cigar, it's usually a Churchill or Lonsdale to a certain degree. I do like either one of those two. It's just my general preference. Let's see here. If I could wear one fragrance every day for the rest of your life, what would it be? So for me, it would be, I may have gone back and forth before, but for me, I like Green Irish Tweed. I just do. It has so many memories in my life, and I do like that quite a bit. But I think it would change if my father were to ever pass away, which will eventually happen. It would be polo green because since I was a child, since I can remember, my dad has worn polo green. So every time I would wear polo green, I would remember my dad. So that would be what I would change if my dad were to pass away. I would more likely than not definitely look at polo green because that is something that, like I said, it reminds me of my dad. So I do like that quite a bit because obviously it reminds me of my father. See, have you ever smoked Asylum cigars that have huge ring gauges? I've tried 9 by 90 April Fool's edition, which is great. So do you like smoking Padrones or Moraine Valleys? I do. The 1926 Padrone is fantastic. And the Asylum, I have not. I've had friends that smoked it. I had one of my friend who was a political campaign consultant, and if they would win, he'd find the biggest cigar he could find. I mean, just ridiculous. He would just go into the humidor and find the biggest one he could find if they won and just smoke it. And it was crazy. Sometimes he was there for hours. It was ridiculous. I'm like, dude, you're gonna make yourself sick. He didn't care. He just get the biggest cigar he could find in the humidor and go for it. I don't know if it was Asylum or not, but he was ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, he was nuts. But he would do that. Yeah, the Padrone 1926 and the Padrone 1964, fantastic. And then I can't remember, what is it, the 4000? Is it the small one, the 4000 or the 2000? I don't remember. There's a Padrone 2. Maybe I got the numbers mixed up because I haven't smoked one in a long time. But the small ones are really good as well. And I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but I do like those as well. They're just real easy to light, real easy to smoke. I do like Padrones. I like Arturo Fuentes as well. They're just real easy to smoke. If I had the chance, the Cuban wise, I would smoke the Trinidad Vigia, but because Cuba decided to like go crazy with the prices, I mean, just ridiculous. A Trinidad Vigia is very expensive now. It used to be like 12, 15 bucks, and you could buy a whole case of them and have it imported. And now they're like $500, $700 for the same box. And I just don't foresee myself paying for that. It doesn't make sense to me when I could have many other boxes of cigars and have them maturing in the humidor. I do like that as well. I like to put stuff in the humidor and let it age. And for me, it didn't make any sense for me to buy something that expensive when I could buy 2 or 3 boxes of stuff that I really do enjoy. It just didn't make sense. I mean, I like Vigias. I like Trinidad Vigia. It's a Cuban, but it's not like, wow, amazing. That's the only one I'd buy. I just bought Opus Lost City and I definitely recommend them. Yeah. So the only time I have seen that, and then what is it? The one with the angel on it. When I was in Mexico last time I was there, it had that angel one on there, and it had a couple Opus X's inside the humidor, and obviously it had Cubans in there because I'm in Mexico, but it had both of those two. I think it's like Heaven and Earth, something like that. It was a Fuente. And it had a couple Opus X's in there. Are you both a cigar and a pipe smoker regularly? So I smoke like, yeah, God of Fire. That's what it's called. Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember because I'm trying to recall something for 4 months ago and only went there once, so I'm trying to remember it. So regularly, so usually for me, I smoke once, maybe twice a week at the most, and that's it. I don't smoke any more than that. For me, I do it because I enjoy it and it relaxes me, and I don't foresee any reason to smoke more than that because I just don't see the reason to do it, so I don't do it. I do enjoy it quite a bit more than, I guess you could say, anything else because, like I said, that's pretty much the only vice that I have. I don't really drink very much at all. I've mentioned on here and on Instagram plenty of times why I don't. I can explain that if you want. I watch one of my friends drink himself to death, and that really does change your perspective on drinking when you watch someone literally kill themselves because they can't control themselves. So that's one of the reasons why I don't drink that much. And I do like smoking because it relaxes me. Like a cigar, I can hang out at a cigar bar, and I've met so many people at a cigar bar that I just never would have the opportunity to meet if I didn't go in there. And it's from all different walks of life. It's one of the few places, and I mentioned this on this channel before. It's one of the few places you can walk in. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what political party you belong to. It doesn't matter anything. If you're sitting in there, you can chat with people and really get to know them. And I mean, on a personal basis as well. It's one of the few places left as far as I'm concerned, that you can do that. I don't know very many other places you can do that, which is, I think, is special, which is probably why they're trying to kill it and get rid of it, in my opinion. Seems like so many states are hell bent on trying to take away cigars. Do you think retrohaling brings out the flavor in both pipes and cigars are just one of them? So retrohaling. See, for me, retrohaling, I can get more nuance, but for me, I don't have like a giant palette. Any fragrances that remind you of any cigars? Yeah, it was Penhaligon's Opus is one that I can think of on top of my head. Um, that's one, obviously. Um, and then, like I was saying before, well, hold on a second. Let me see if I could pull it back up here. Let's see. Yeah, so retrohaling. So, for example, oh, come on now. So retrohaling, it basically, I don't have the nuance to be like, oh, it's fantastic. I can taste it, but I don't have the skills to be like, oh, it tastes like nutmeg, or oh, it tastes like chocolate. And I tell people this all the time, especially that start out, they think, oh, I'm supposed to taste a certain way. I said, look, I've been smoking cigars for a long time, and pipes, both. So basically, it's either good or it's not. That's pretty much that's pretty much how I judge it. It's either it tastes good or it doesn't, and I try not to look more into it than that. I'm not like a what is it, a savant where I can tell you, oh, it's chocolate, or oh, it's whiskey, or oh, it tastes like earth, or whatever. I generally don't have that perception. Even if I retrohale, I can't tell you. And sometimes some people, they're gifted with that. They can really do. I have a friend of mine. He can give you War and Peace on a cigar. He can tell you the beginning, the middle, the end, the different notes it has, the different flavors, how it changes, so on and so forth. And it's really cool. Me, I had not a chance in this world. I just tell you, hey, it's good or it's not. Like for example, I've learned over many years, Lajero is not good for me. Lajero will destroy me, and I mean that literally. I have one time I had a Dr. Pepper. I had an entire Whataburger that I had eaten a combo, and I went and got, it was at the LFD, the Florida Dominicana, the red one, which is Lajero, or double Lajero, I think, off the top of my head. I may be incorrect in that, but I know it is Lajero, and it really, it really did not much as I could do. Jacob's Ladder was another one that really, that really was strong for me. It just like, whoa, and it really knocked me down. I had a friend of mine. He was like, "Hey, man, are you feeling okay?" I'm like, "No, I gotta put this down." It was really coming after me, and I do mean that. It was great. I love the flavor, but man, it was really strong, even for me. What do you like to pair with your cigars with? Believe it or not, I usually like Dr. Pepper. I like Dr. Pepper quite a bit. Yeah, Dr. Pepper. I've been known to have coffee with it as well. Espresso is another thing that I have with cigars. Like cigars and pipes are both lifetime pleasures. Can't see quitting once you start because of the relaxing factor. Do you agree? Yeah, I do agree. It is a pleasure of mine. It is very relaxing to me, and I have done many things off a cigar, and I mean that literally. Like for example, when I first met my wife, I mentioned the story before in one of my videos. I walked. I went and bought a cigar and I smoked it and I walked up and down the street just to think and get my mind clear and like, do I really want to date this chick? Do I really? It was able to like reel myself in and make me think, and I really did like that quite a bit. And that's what, if you do things alone, a lot of people, they never really are alone. But if you smoke a cigar, put your phone down and just enjoy the cigar, you'll be amazed at what you can do alone, what you think of alone, and it really is nice. And a lot of people don't give themselves that opportunity. They constantly have to feed themselves their phone, their whatever, Instagram. Someone's doing this, someone's doing that, whatever. They constantly give themselves things to do instead of just sit down and think and enjoy themselves and just relax. At the constant being a stress of drama, which is probably not a good thing for their health either. Let's see here. Let's see. Wait, hold on a second. You had asked me something else. Let me see. For some reason it goes away. I don't know why. Let's see here. See. Uh, do you ever like a cigar one day and try it again and hate it? Yeah, I have had that. I have had that before, and maybe it was a fluke. It can bring people together and can start friendships. Absolutely, it has. I've had many friendships come out of a cigar lounge. Did you ever have? Oh, hold on a second. Let's see here. Did you ever like a cigar? Yeah, I did. So I've had a couple where I've smoked it, and like for example, the my father was it, yeah, my father Libijou 1922, I think it is. I've had one or two of those, and then after I smoked them again, I just didn't. It just didn't do anything for me. It was just I lost interest in it, and I regret to say that, but I have. I've lost interest in it. Perdomo is another one. I've smoked. What is it? The Habano. I like the Habano one. I like the barrel aged one. But once you smoke one of them, it's just like it's a specific place you buy cigars. Yeah, Finks here locally in San Antonio. Finks is a cigar retailer, and I do like going there quite a bit. I've gone there for many years. I have friends that work there. I've had many friendships there, and I can't say that enough. Do you think clinch cigars as much as pipes? I don't understand that question. What do you mean by clinch cigars? Maybe that's you put that incorrectly there. I don't quite understand what you mean in that context. Let's see here. Do you think? Yeah, if you could rephrase that, I will gladly answer it. 1 second here. In the meantime, I'll answer this. Which Rolex sports model, other than what you have, if you could have one only as your only and everyday watch? So the sports model that I probably have is a Yachtmaster. So the one I have right now is a two-tone Explorer. I love that watch quite a bit, and I've loved it since I bought it. And if I were to have another one, it'd probably be a Yachtmaster. I've had a Submariner. Every time I have a Submariner, do you clinch cigars as much as? Oh, I understand what you mean now. You're talking about. No, I don't. I don't see the need to clinch it, but on my pipe, you can definitely see the bite marks on the back end, trying to hold it, especially corn cobs. That's why I generally prefer a lighter pipe. It's just my personal preference. And a lot of times I hold it in my hand as well. But when I have a cigar, no, usually I do the same thing. I take it. Maybe that's just interesting. Maybe that's something to test is I also take the cigar. Do you find aging makes your cigars better? I do. I do like to age them, especially stronger ones, because they seem to mellow out over time. And I think one right now, I think I've aged, what is it, year and a half, 2 years. I have one in their age right now. My bad. I love to clinch a pipe. Cigars, not so much. Yeah, sorry. I misunderstood what you were asking me there, but I understand what you're saying now. I didn't read that in context, and I apologize for that. So if you could only have as your only and oh yeah, sorry, I already put that favorite songs from the last 3 or 4 decades. Oh my goodness, I did answer this on the Instagram there, and it was very interesting. I put an English version and the Spanish version both, and yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head because I'm put on the spot. But I was thinking about it earlier. Obviously, when I had this original list, it was from English and Spanish. I did both of them. Which, if you didn't know, I do speak both. Are Cuban cigars overrated? Um, I don't think they are. I don't think Cuban cigars are overrated at all. And many people will say that they are, but I just don't think that they are. I think the only reason why they are considered overrated is because you can't get them really in the United States without importing them or going somewhere else. So it automatically makes it exclusive. So people put a huge value or huge mark on it, like, oh, it's a Cuban. But I don't think I think they do have their place. They have a different flavor. They have a different profile than other cigars, but it's still a Cuban to a certain degree, obviously. So think about it this way, right? So if you notice, for example, if you watch promoting or you look at just regular power dynamics, if you take someone out, you just put yourself on a waiting list for Rolex Date Just 41. I hope I don't have to wait long. How was your experience buying when put on a wait list? I don't deal with wait lists. I don't. I've always pretty much done and gone to the gray market, not gray market, but the secondhand market and bought it from there. I have so many bad experiences with ADs and Rolex ADs that I just don't even want to deal with them. I would much rather give the money to a small business that they can feed their family, put shelter over their heads, and things of that nature, than give it to Rolex, which constantly pisses me off. Every time I've gone in there, they piss me off. So I generally just try to stay away from there. Do you think sugar is a good antidote for high nicotine? Yes, it is. Sugar is a great nicotine thing. I really do like that quite a bit. And back to the Cuban cigar thing, I've had them. Like I said, I've had a Vegeta. I've had several Cubans in my life. They're special. They're on the lighter side, so a lot of people that like lighter cigars, they seem to work fine. Um, from what my experience, they have like lighter to mild. That the ones that I've been exposed to, and they do have a distinct taste about them. But like I said, like when I went back to power dynamics, if you take someone away, you get more presence, more power if you take them away, especially if they've already put themselves out there as I'm a brand. Look at me. Like for example, if you guys can relate this to boxing, when Mike Tyson went to prison, he was the commodity you couldn't touch because he was in prison. So what it do? It made him more famous. People wanted to see him box more. People had more admiration for him because he was in prison, but you couldn't get in the box. So when he came out ready to box, people were crazy. They wanted to buy and watch him box again. You know me asking, what do you do for a living? So I mentioned this in the beginning. I'm an IT project manager, so I do information technology, and I'm a project manager in that. I started off as a software engineer, and then I transferred over to management. So my background is in application development and project management, pretty much. So let's see here. Oh, it says, have you started a search for a home or waiting until my permanent job? So I had like 3 or 4 job offers, and then I ended up staying here in San Antonio. How large a collection of cigars do you have? Oh my goodness. I'd say 25 to 50 right now. Have you ever used a cigar holder with your cigars? I have not used a cigar holder. I have a friend that has one, and it's very interesting, and I think it's cool. But I don't know if I'd ever use one because, yeah, I just don't know if I'd ever use one because usually when it gets down to the nub, it gets too hot. And you know this if you smoke pipes, if you get it too hot, it will light your tongue up like the 4th of July. It will light your tongue up. So, and I feel the same exact way. If you smoke the nub down far enough, it will light your tongue up. So, generally speaking, there's no reason why I would have it like that. So, I just put it out because it gets too hot. And pretty much every flavor that it had is gone by then because you burn it. So, or you burn it out, and that's just the way that it is because yeah, I mean once it gets down to so little, and even then I mean obviously you can stick the holder in there and then smoke it and your fingers don't get hurt, but like I've smoked them all the way down to the nub, and yeah, I've been collecting 4 years and have close to 1,200 cigars. Wow, that's fantastic. No, for me, I just keep something small. So if you notice anything that I've ever done on my channel or even on Instagram, I don't have a lot of things because generally speaking, I don't use them. And for me, I feel like it's wasted space. If I buy something and I don't use it, for me, it's a waste of money. Now, I do understand cigars because you can age them, and that's fantastic. I have friends that have humidors specifically for aging and have some that they just smoke regularly. They have like daily cigars that they smoke. They have another humidor for like stuff they have for special occasion. And like I said, they have stuff that they age specifically for aging purposes. So it's very interesting that dynamic of how they do things. And like I said, some actually have, well, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they have an actual like it's like a mini fridge like you put beer in, and they have it inside of there, but it's for cigars, and they'll keep them in there in certain cabinets and things of that nature, however they want to orient them. And it's very interesting that individually, I think the last box of cigars, because I didn't know if I was going to move or not, which is another reason why I didn't buy cigars, because I don't want to take a whole bunch of cigars, move it across the United States, and then cigar beetles eat my cigars up while I'm moving, because there's really no way to temperature control it realistically because I'm driving and it's just a lot of drama. So I didn't want to do that because of that reason, which I think is intelligent in my experience, likely or not. So maybe now that that has changed, I'm thinking about going between both. See, lately, I don't know if you guys have been following me on Instagram. Like I said, it's in the description there. I'm on there a lot more than I am here, obviously. So I pretty much have started doing Italian cigars. I like those quite a bit. And this is Toscano cigars. They're very interesting. You can cut them in half and you can smoke one half and the other half. They're not that long, but they last quite a long time when you burn them. Do you agree that in public you rarely see a pipe smoker? Yeah, you know what? I had a friend of mine when I was dating. I used to date a chick a long time ago, and she was a cigarette smoker. And I had a friend of mine. I asked, I said, "Hey, like, what do you think? Do you think I should bring a cigar or a pipe or whatever?" And she's like, "No, bring a pipe. It's unique." So I did. I brought a pipe and it was really cool. The chick liked it or whatever. So that was before I was married. So it was something really cool. And I have gone to a bar, I have gone to places with a pipe and smoked it. And people will come up and talk to you and ask you questions because it's not very common at all. I mean, I've smoked cigars quite a time and people come up and talk to me, but it's nothing. And I mean, nothing like a pipe. If you're smoking a pipe somewhere, people will come up and they will talk to you. If you want attention, just get a pipe and go smoke it somewhere. People will walk up to you and try to talk to you. I have seen that many times. Only time I've seen it where it hasn't really been that way is it like a what is it? What do they call that? Medieval festival. I love Toscano cigars. They have different strengths in the package. They do. The Garibaldi is what I like the best. I like the Classico as well. I think was it Garibaldi? I don't know. It's Italian, so maybe I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. It could be Garibaldi or Garibaldi. I don't know exactly. I don't speak Italian. So that cigar is fantastic, and I love it a lot. And it seems to be really smooth, but it doesn't have the spice because they're aged in Kentucky, like Kentucky tobacco, and some of the other ones they have are very strong and can be very spicy, in my opinion. So it's really mellow, and if you smoke only half of it, it doesn't really get to you, and it lasts quite some time, and they're relatively inexpensive. I get many people ask me about one of my pipes, so you're right, we stand out, and it is a attention getter. Yeah, I've mentioned this before. If you want to wear a sign that says "Look at me," just walk out there with a pipe, and that could also include cigars as well. Some people have never seen people smoke cigars at all, and come up and talk to you. They want to chat with you, whatever. Nothing wrong with that. What's your favorite cigar? Oh man. So I mentioned this before, but I am more on the Cameroon side. So if you look at like the Don Carlos Arturo Fuente, I love that cigar. The Presidente, I love it. Fantastic. It is like one of the easiest cigars that you can smoke, and it's fantastic. I don't know how else to describe it. And I like the Leaf by Oscar Sumatra. I like that, and I like the Leaf by Oscar because you can open the cigar, and it's like opening a little gift. I do like that quite a bit because it comes in a cigar leaf, so you get to open it and cut it and everything, and it's like a little gift, and I do like that quite a bit. And Sumatras are like coffee, and I do like those and earthy, and it reminds me of coffee that I like to drink, which is another reason why I like it. Um, I've also liked the Epicarillo, the was it Las Parientes? I like that. I think it's what it's called, and it's the red and turquoise cigar. I like that cigar a lot. It has a Mexican San Andreas wrapper in it, and I really do like the kick that it gives. I also like the pledge, so I like the Epicarrillo, the pledge. I like that quite a bit. And for Cuban would be Vigia, the Trinidad Vigia, or the Monte Cristo number 2. I do like either one of those two as well. And I have been known to smoke Davidoff. What is it? Number 2s. Do you find lighting a cigar with a soft flame taste better than a butane? Yeah, I do. I like lighting cigars with matches, and I mentioned this before in previous videos of mine. I try to light stuff with matches more than anything else. I mean, I could obviously if you have a torch, you have a torch, but I try to light stuff with matches because I just prefer it that way. I don't see anything wrong with that. Honestly, on the Scala cigar, what strength are you at? I'm about 2 or 3. I think, like I said, I think it's the 2 out of 5. I think the green one is, if I remember. I'm trying, like I said, I'm going back in memory because it's been in my humidor, so I haven't looked at the box in a while. So I think it's 2 out of 5. I think it is, or maybe 1.5, maybe even. It's not that much. I think Classico is even more strength in Toscanos than the Classico Toscano, and I do like that quite a bit. The thing is, you don't need a cutter either because they're already cut. You just light it and that's it. You don't have to worry about cutting it or any of the extracurricular activities inside of it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Just if you don't seem to have a cutter, and I don't know about you guys, but sometimes the punch, depending on what cigars give if someone gives you a cigar or whatever, and you put the punch in and you start doing that, sometimes it cracks the cap, which nothing else in this world pisses me off than I'm trying to cut it and then it cracks the cap. That drives me fucking crazy. Do you have a hold on for the second part of this comment here. Do you have a what? What is your experience of vapors? Vaping, I don't. I vaping is in particular. I did a video on quitting smoking cigarettes, And I have lots of my friends that have used vape pens to stop smoking cigarettes. And I have also used friends that have got themselves off of, what is it, opioids. Do you have a Zippo pipe lighter? I do. I have a Zippo pipe lighter insert. So I've had a couple of friends of mine that take marijuana through vape pens, and it keeps them from taking opioids. So people, it helps them a lot with their pain management instead of taking literally legal heroin is pretty much what it is, which is extremely dangerous, obviously. And they don't like the way they feel on the opioids or opiates. So that what they do is they take marijuana through a vape pen, or they smoke it, or they or whatever they do with it, and it makes them function, and they can function, and it reduces their pain level. So I don't foresee any reason why that's an issue. But that's the only experience really I have with vape pens. I don't really vape at all. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I do have a Zippo pipe lighter. So what happened is my grandfather passed away, and I got his dad's Zippo lighter. So I have that one now, and I put the pipe one inside that. I never bought one. Do you recommend it? Um, sure. I mean, the only thing I don't like about it is it's not butane. So if you don't use it all the time, it just evaporates out. Another thing that pisses me off about the Zippo is you have to, it's going to sound really, I don't know another way to put this, but you have to basically, the flame will sit up here. You have to constantly do that in order to get it to actually go down to the bowl. And when it gets toward the bottom of the bowl, you really have to like do that in order to get the flame to touch the what would be in a cigar would be considered a cherry. You really have to do that. And sometimes you can overheat the bowl. I've had that happen to me, unfortunately, but maybe it's because I'm inexperienced with it, but I've used it quite a bit, and I have noticed that over time. And sometimes the flame, it can get kind of weird on you whenever you've lit it as well. When you're trying to relight the bowl, it gets kind of strange. But I would recommend it, but it's not. For me, it hasn't. I mean, I'd just much rather use matches. It's easier for me. I always light two matches at a time and stick it. It's much easier um, for me because I don't smoke pipes all that often, so it just doesn't make sense for me to keep Zippo lighter fluid inside of a Zippo because it'll just evaporate out, and then I'll be out money for no reason. I'm like putting, was it good money after bad, I think is the word that they say because of that. But I don't know of any other one. I've also put the Zippo butane insert into another Zippo of mine, the butane one they have, and there's no way to control the flame. I mean, it's just like ginormous. It's like that tall, and there's no way to control it. It doesn't have any of that. I started years ago with Captain Black Royal. I still pick a pouch up regularly. Okay, yeah. See, I don't even know what that is. I just, like I said, I usually would just buy the house blend, whatever house blend they have. I just buy the house blend and use that. Like I said, the one that I like is Casanova, whichever that is. I don't know exactly what tobacco that is, but it's a house blend they have here locally, and they keep them in jars like that. And I'll say, hey, I would like an ounce or 2 ounces or whatever of Casanova or peach, or if I'm feeling like a whatever, if they have different flavors, cherry or whatever. And I just ask them, hey, this is what I'd like. And they just measure it out and give it to me in a bag. And that's it, a Ziploc bag. And I'm on my way. It's not too bad. And then obviously they write down whatever house blend it is. So if you want to go back, you could do it. Bro could spend hours listening to you talking. I suppose, I mean, probably. I have, I thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what to say. Is my voice soothing or something? I don't know. I've been accused of never shutting up, so that's another thing too. I can go on and on and on and talk about stuff. I'm pretty good at that, for what it's worth. Probably I got into the wrong business. It should have been an accounts person or salesperson in accounts because I can talk to people and stuff like that instead of because if generally if you're in sales and you speak too much, you can scare people away. You say too much and give them too many options and decisions to walk away from you. What's the most bowls of a pie chucker did you ever smoke in one day? Mine is 10. So I think mine is like two or three, I think. I don't go more than that, like two or three. I think, and it was it wasn't a very large bowl. It was just a small little, I think I've done a video on it. It's just a small corn cob pipe that I have. I put two or three in there and that was it. I didn't smoke any more than that, which is not a bad thing at all. So yeah, I think it's been a while since I smoked a pipe. Honestly, I think I need to try it again. I think I have some. There's a house blend that I have that I don't really care for. It's called crooner, which if you don't know what crooner is, it's like the definition of a crooner is pretty much like Frank Sinatra or Bing Crosby, so on and so forth. They're considered crooning music, but that's where it comes from is crooner. So that is what the house blend is labeled as, and it's interesting. And I just don't care much for that house blend very much, which is what I really do like about pipe smoking versus cigar smoking. Cigar smoking, if you buy a cigar and you don't like it, well, you're out sometimes 5 to 10, $15. Whereas if you buy a ounce and you don't like it, I think you're out a couple bucks, maybe. That's it. It's not a lot. Crooner has Deerfoot and is pretty strong. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I don't know if, like I said, it's a house blend, so maybe it is what you say it is. I don't know. I don't, it doesn't have ingredients or anything, and I don't ask them. I think when I first started trying them, I just went down each jar and was like, give me an ounce of that, give me an ounce of that, give me an ounce of that, so on and so forth. And I just wanted to try each of the house blends that they had. I think the first one I had was like peach or something like that. And I did it was like peach or cherry or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And it was pretty good, obviously. But they also have cans in there that I've never had. I've thought about trying some of those. I just never have gotten around to it for obvious reasons. All right, you guys. So I'm almost at 45 minutes here. I don't know if you have any other questions, but if not, I'm probably going to hang it up here and go do what I need to do to take care of what I need to take care of. So thank you guys very much. Like I said, hopefully I can get on here more often than I have. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you guys for interacting with me. And I will see you guys soon. Like I said, my Instagram's down in the description. If you want to talk to me, I'm there a lot more than I am here. Crooner ever smoke old Joe Krantz supposed to be the strongest, but no, I have not. Anyway, you guys have a good day.